Hello, you're watching QPVN News. I'm Anh Tuấn and here's the headlines. Vietnam bolsters cooperation with Laos and Cambodia for women's development. Building and developing advanced Vietnamese culture imbued with national identity. EUROCHAM positive about Vietnam's economy. On July the 4th in Hanoi, President Tô Lâm hosted a reception for newly appointed New Zealand ambassador to Vietnam, Caroline Beresford. President Lâm applauded the close collaboration in national defense, security and positive progress in bilateral economic and trade ties. He thanked New Zealand for supporting English language training and specialized training for Vietnamese officials at both central and local levels. He also proposed the New Zealand government continue facilitating the Vietnamese community studying, working and living in the country. The New Zealand ambassador expressed her joy in accepting the assignment in Vietnam, one of New Zealand's important partners in the region. She affirmed her commitment to work closely with the two countries' ministries, agencies and sectors to foster coordination in promising areas with the hope of elevating the bilateral relationship to a new level with practical and effective outcomes. President Lâm underlined the importance of close bilateral coordination at multilateral forums, including the UN and APEC. He stressed that Vietnam and New Zealand's common perspectives on global and regional issues provides a strong foundation to bolster joint efforts to build peaceful, stable and prosperous Asia-Pacific and Indian Ocean regions. On July the 4th in Hanoi, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn hosted a reception for delegation of Lao and Cambodian women and female entrepreneurs who came to Hanoi for a forum connecting business women of the three countries. Chairman Mẫn stressed that the party, state and people of Vietnam always pay attention to gender equality and women's development, reflected through the issuance of numerous relevant directives, policies, strategies, projects and laws. Applauding the initiative of the Women's Unions of Vietnam, Laos and Cambodia in organizing a forum to connect and exchange for business women of the three countries, Chairman Mẫn believed that the three women's unions will continue exchanging experiences and successful models, along with connecting female entrepreneurs from the three countries so that women in general and female entrepreneurs in particular can make significant contributions to construction and development efforts in each country and the region. He also suggested that the three unions should keep discussing directions and cooperation measures to better work for women's development and gender equality, connect business women, and enhance their traditional friendship and relations, thus contributing to the solidarity and comprehensive cooperation among the parties, states and peoples of Vietnam, Laos and Cambodia. On July the 4th in Hanoi, the Central Military Commission held a conference for senior officials to popularize and study the contents of the book, Building and Developing an Advanced Vietnamese Culture Imbued with National Identity, authored by Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng. General Phan Văn Giang, Minister of National Defense, chaired the conference. Attending the conference was Senior Lieutenant General Nguyễn Tân Cương, Chief of the General Staff, Deputy Minister of National Defense, and Senior Lieutenant General Trịnh Văn Quyết, Chairman of the General Political Department of the Vietnam People's Army. The book includes 92 writings, speeches, talks, excerpts from interviews and letters by General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng on building and developing the Vietnamese culture. The contents reflects his profound concern over building, preserving and developing the Vietnamese culture with traditional and modern elements to contribute to national construction and development, as well as the promotion of strengths from the Vietnamese people and culture in building a prosperous and happy nation. The book has three parts. The first part, Culture is the Soul of the Nation, explains the concepts of building an advanced Vietnamese culture rich in national identity, analyzes the important role and position of culture in the course of building and safeguarding the fatherland, goals, tasks, and solutions to fully and comprehensively promote cultural values, in the second part on the comprehensive and synchronous development, so that culture can be an internal strength and a driving force for sustainable national development. General Secretary Chang has given directions for the field of literature and arts, education, science and technology, journalism and publishing. The third part, from General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng cultural thesis to real life, selects 32 articles and interviews from officials, party members and people in studying, implementing and concretizing the party's policies and guidelines and the guiding opinions of General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng at the National Cultural Conference. The book also consists of more than 90 precious documentary photos with images of the General Secretary in cultural activities and cultural conferences, working visits with localities, meetings with agencies and units in the culture sector, and meetings with artists and intellectuals across the country. DK1 is the name of the economic, scientific, technological services platforms on the southern continental shelf of the fatherland. For 35 years, despite hardships, the troops here have always been staying firm to defend the sea, islands and continental shelf of the fatherland. The platforms amid the vast sea have shown the pride and strong affirmation of Vietnam's maritime national sovereignty. Every day, every hour, these soldiers must always firmly grasp situations in the air, at sea, and strengthen training with combat readiness plans to handle any arising situations in a timely manner. I am very happy when contributing my part to the country. I have been consistent in the goals of safeguarding the national sovereignty over sea and islands. Though there are still many hardships, the troops always uphold their spirit of solidarity and strong will to safeguard the fatherland. They always stay ready to be a firm mainstay for fishermen to sail the sea and develop the economy in the southern continental shelf of the fatherland. We have upheld troops' political bravery and responsibility, thus helping them stay ready to firmly safeguard the fatherland. The officers and soldiers who are selected to the platforms are those with good health, strong political will and high determination, and stand ready to surmount hardships to firmly protect the country. After 35 years of protecting the platforms in the face of harsh weather conditions, there have been officers and soldiers who sacrificed their lives to safeguard the national sovereignty at sea. However, overcoming all difficulties, these soldiers have always upheld their responsibility to protect the country. Coming up next, EUROCHAM positive about Vietnam's economy. Ninh Bình tour among world's best experiences, TripAdvisor. According to data from the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Finance, Vietnam's import and export activities in the first 6 months of 2024 continued to record positive results. Total import-export turnover of goods is estimated at $369.6 billion, up 16% over the same period last year, of which exports are estimated at $189.5 billion, up 14.2%. Notably, in the first 6 months of this year, export grew strongly and evenly in all three product groups of agriculture and aquatic, industrial commodities and mineral fuels. The U.S. continues to be Vietnam's largest export market with a turnover of $44.4 billion, up 22.3% over the same period last year. The Chinese market reached $22.6 billion, an increase of 9.9%. The EU market also reached $20.3 billion, an increase of 14.1%. It is forecast that export growth in 2024 will exceed the target of 6% set by the Ministry of Industry and Trade at the beginning of the year. Recently, the Vietnamese embassy in Belgium held a seminar with the participation of representatives of EUROCHAM. Participants discussed cooperation opportunities between Vietnam and the EU, especially in key areas such as green economy, renewable energy, environment, and the implementation of content in the framework of the Just Energy Transition Partnership. The Vietnamese ambassador to Belgium and head of the Vietnamese delegation to the EU, Nguyễn Văn Thảo, emphasized the importance of cooperation between Vietnam and the EU in promoting green economy for sustainable development, especially in the fields of renewable energy and environmental protection. EUROCHAM Chairman Dominic Makel said, "The seminar focuses on the ongoing and future cooperation between EUROCHAM and its Vietnamese partners, with priority given to sustainable economic development."
So we see, of course, that Vietnam is offering a lot of opportunities for our business community. We see a stable investment environment. We see a very well-educated labor force. We see a government that is very open for dialogue.
Representatives of EUROCHAM businesses expressed their confidence in the stable development of the Vietnamese economy.
Well, the speedy recovery after a good handling of the COVID crisis, economy is back. It took a bit of time. We had a little aftermath, but now is full speed ahead, as you can see.
With support and commitment from the European businesses, Vietnam will fully tap its potential to achieve its goals of sustainable economic development and prosperity in the future. The world's largest travel guidance platform, TripAdvisor, has revealed its Travelers' Choice Awards Best of the Best Things to Do 2024, and the full-day Ninh Bình Highlights Tour from Hanoi topped the 9th in the list of top 10 experiences in the world. The platform cited, "Swap the hustle of Hanoi for a day filled with natural beauty, education and adventure." On a full-day Ninh Bình Highlights Tour, you'll get to enjoy hiking, cycling and cruising around the picturesque local village with ample photo opportunities at scenic spots. The tour delivers a blend of physical activity. According to Ninh Bình Tourism Department, in the first 6 months of 2024, Ninh Bình attracted roughly 6.3 million visitors, a year-on-year increase of nearly 39%, earning over 5,900 billion Vietnam dong for revenue, more than 1.5 times higher than the same period last year. From swampy areas and unproductive fields, people in Mê Linh District, Hanoi have switched to growing lotus. Up to now, the lotus growing areas in Mê Linh have increased to some 60 hectares. This new direction has brought high economic efficiency to local people. The fragrant lotus fields were in full bloom during the harvest season. Busy with work from early morning, Ms. Xuân said that since the Westlake lotus variety was planted in Mê Linh, it has created stable jobs for her and many households in the area. The harvest season of lotus is from lunar April to July. As the lotus cultivating area grows every year, our job is always stable. After 5 years, the lotus growing areas have increased to some 50 hectares. On average, Mê Linh Lotus Craft Village Cooperative supplies the market with some 20 to 30,000 flowers a day, from pink ones for tea making to white ones for display. Every year, around 1 million lotus flowers can be harvested, of which 30% of the output will be processed into lotus tea. From growing lotus for selling flowers and making tea, the cooperative has recently opened a new direction, that's agricultural tourism. All of our lotus growing areas now are still in Mê Linh District. In case of urbanization, we've planned to transfer growing technology, lotus seedlings to other localities and purchase processed products. For the lotus growing model to develop sustainably and lotus products to have their own brand, In the coming time, Mê Linh District will continue to expand the areas and diversify models to promote the development of the Mê Linh Lotus tea brand. This is the end of the QPVN News today. Remember to watch our news again at qpvn.vn. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.